Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Side Chat with Nation. A lot of things have happened this week in African football. This edition we are going to be talking about African football. I know in the previous video we were talking a lot about Manchester United, Arsenal, the English Premier League, but this particular one is going to be specifically dedicated to African football. And there are good things and there are bad things that happen in African football that sometimes make me question the love for the sport. Before I get to talk about some of the bad things that happen to sport, let me just plug you guys to watch something that I was watching this past week. It was a Netflix special on the death of Senzo Meyiwa. Senzo Meyiwa was a very, very decorated South African player. Like anywhere you go in SA, even right now, if you just mention the name Senzo Meyiwa, it's a name that most of the football lovers are not going to forget anytime soon. So I don't want to be a spoiler in the whole, but let me just give you a brief catch up on what happened in the story of Senzo Meyiwa. My brothers and sisters from SA, if you feel like there's like a detail that I've missed out there, you can comment down here. Let me know what I need to include in the next, conversation. You can also fact check. This is not like a one-sided kind of thing, because at the end of the day, I still need you guys to comment. So if there's a detail that I probably might have missed out on this conversation, then just comment down there and let me know. What probably are your memories of Senzo Meyiwa? So Senzo Meyiwa was a decorated South African football player who used to play for the Orlando Pirates, and for some reason he died in a very mysterious, circumstances. I mean, looking at that particular documentary, there are different theories that came with relation to how he might have died at that particular time. And one name that kept on being mentioned in the whole of that documentary was Kelly Khumalo. If you're hearing about Kelly Khumalo for the first time, let me just say this. If you're hearing about Kelly Khumalo for the first time, you need to check out her music. Kelly Khumalo, I think I was introduced to Kelly Khumalo right before watching this particular docu-series by Netflix. Let's just say, before we get too much into this, let's just say that Kelly Khumalo is such an amazing artist. I think for me, one of my favorite songs by Kelly Khumalo was Mpini. You can check out that on YouTube. Long story short, Kelly Khumalo at the time was dating Senzo Meyiwa, and Senzo Meyiwa was killed in Kelly Khumalo's house. So there's been all that theory saying linking her to the death of Senzo Meyiwa, but then there are also other theories that came. Long story short, what is being said, the parents, the brothers, the sisters of Senzo Meyiwa are saying there is an aspect of this information that they've not been told. Anyway, I don't want to be a party pooper. Go to Netflix, you're gonna watch out the story of Senzo Meyiwa, what happened to Senzo Meyiwa, and all that. Away from Senzo Meyiwa, and there's something that really touched a nerve for me this past week in African football. I think African football sometimes makes it hard for you to love. Take a moment and think about that. African football sometimes makes it hard for you to love, to watch, to support, and all those kinds of things. And just put it out there, this is an isolated incident and it's an isolated conversation, because I'm not saying that all sports or all football activities in Africa are not developed or they are not up to par, but sometimes the things that happen within the African football and you're left to question, wow, that actually happened. Let me bring it home here in Kenya. Right now, in case you don't know, right now in Kenya, we are being banned by FIFA indefinitely. So we don't know when we are going to be representing the country outside. The Harambee Stars, that is the national team, is going to be representing the country in any continental or international competition. This past week, I think it was this week or the other week. Let me know what you think. You can say, I think it was the other week, yeah. There were it was last week. There were the draws for the AFCON qualifiers for 2023. The AFCON is going to be held in Cote d'Ivoire, the home of the legend that is Didier Drogba. We're going to be talking about Didier Drogba later on in this conversation. And the reason why I'm saying it's very hard sometimes to love African football is because sometimes you're looking at things that are happening and you're like, why is this happening in this day and age? In this day and age in African football, we still have situations where players have not been compensated their equal salary. And if they have been paid, sometimes, I'm not saying every single time, sometimes it's after a lot of push and shove. You remember when there was the World Cup, I think it was in Germany, yeah? When the Ghana national team said, you know what, we are not going to play this game until you pay us our bonuses. And money had to be flown from Ghana all the way to where the players were. Simple issues that people should not even be talking about. Like, if the players are playing, then let them be paid and compensated equally for that particular thing. So sometimes when we are talking about African football, I sometimes think that we are the ones who are killing African football because of things that we do. Let me bring it back home. During the campaigns in 2013, we usually have our elections after every 5 years, yeah? So in 4 years, sorry, guys are gonna kill me for that particular one. When we had our election when we were having the campaigns in 2013, the people were vying for the seat that time. They said, oh, we're going to be building stadiums in all over the country. 10 years down the line, we don't have no stadiums. The ones that are there, they've taken more than 2 years to renovate. And even after renovation, they're still playable because of a lot of restrictions. So sometimes we are the ones who are working against African football. That being said, I mentioned that there's a story that really touched enough for me, is the fact that Mathare United, in case you don't know what Mathare United is a team that plays in the Kenya Premier League here in Kenya. Mathare United sent out a circular today saying, they sent a circular this week, yeah? They sent a circular saying that they are financially constrained and they are not able to honor their league fixture matches. And if you're a football fan, then definitely you know what happens in that case. That's a straight walkover. It's so sad to me that all these years, when we talk about teams lacking money, teams not being paid their bonuses, the need for us to set up structures that can support football, whether a certain individual is there or not. We still don't do that. And years down the line, the whole situation blows up in our faces. And the people who actually end up suffering are the players, the coaches, the team owners, and the people that have the interests of the club at heart. This is why I started by saying sometimes it's very hard to love African football because we are the ones that sometimes, we make things worse for us, and then we start complaining, this and this and this. Just before I'm misquoted about this issue, the reason why I'm saying that sometimes we are the ones to blame, me as a journalist, you as a football player, you as a sports administrator, is sometimes if, say, I'm a player and I'm outside and I know the problems that the relevant people are facing, when I get to a position of influence, I will not do something about it. Instead, I will look at it from the point of, it is my time to eat. and then mismanage a lot of things, and then 10 years down the line, the same cycle repeats and repeats. My take is this: let us develop African football. Most of the times we are complaining about not having fans in the stadiums. It's because there is no product, fans will come there when there is a product. A very good example is our brothers in Tanzania, who are doing an amazing job with the Tanzanian League. Just last week, in case you missed the conversation, you can go back to the channel. It's there when I was talking about Simba against Orlando Pirates. It can be done. We can change African football. We can make African football the league that people can watch out for. Speaking about that, and just tying all this conversation to relation to why sometimes we are our worst enemies, I'm pretty sure in January and February, no, actually, it was in January, yeah? Early this year when you're talking about the AFCON tournament, yeah? And thank you so much, everybody who watched the AFCON series that we had with my brother Eric Shilenge. If you've not watched any of those analysis sessions that we had, you can go down there, follow the channel, and watch the videos. It's just that, what was I saying? I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, what I was saying is, for those of you who follow the AFCON tournament, massive props to Cameroon for doing an amazing job setting up the AFCON tournament at the center of the, the COVID-19 pandemic. People are like, oh, we need to postpone it. No. But AFCON were like, no, we're not going to be postponing the AFCON tournament. It's going to go on. And they did a good job hosting the tournament. Now here comes the tricky part. So I read a story this past week that 89 out of the 90 AFCON buses that were used by visiting teams in Cameroon have gone missing. How? I know it's a serious thing. I'm not supposed to be laughing. But hey, how? How do just buses like those ones disappear without a trace? How does that happen? So it's quite interesting, and it boils down to what I'm saying. It's such things that sometimes make it hard for people to take the African football seriously. My take in all this: if we want African football to develop to the levels that the English Premier League are, the Spanish La Liga are, the Bundesliga are, we need to develop a level of accountability. If I, as a sports journalist, have been appointed to a position to do something, out of obligation or out of accountability, I should be able to say that this is what I'm supposed to be doing and this is what I want to do, so that at the end of the day, everybody can benefit. Anyway, away from that, in Côte d'Ivoire, the FA president elections were set to be held. We're going to be talking about who the winner is. We're going to be taking a bit of a profile into the winners. Just to point that the aspirants who are contesting for the FA president position is none other than Didier Drogba. And the other person, let me get the name. The other person was Idriss Diallo. And the other person is, Diabate. Diabate was the vice president of the former president Diallo, who passed away in 2020 due to COVID-19. So those are the three contestants that are vying to be at the helm of the football in Côte d'Ivoire. I'm going to share that particular story. In the other conversation that we're going to be having, I'm going to be giving you a spotlight on who would have won that particular election and what is the profile and probably what, what to expect from the new president. In case you're new to the channel, you're tuning in here for the first time, make sure you like, subscribe, and share to your friends. Also comment. I would really love to see how to improve this space better, how to make it better for you, what type of content would you like to see on the channel. Make sure you comment down there, like, share, subscribe. See you on the next one.